Hey, so I want to talk a little bit about Theta 3.0 staking when the mainnet hits coming up here in the end of June. There's a lot of concern or a lot of questions on exactly how does this work, and it's a fairly complicated concept, hence why I wanted to talk about it here on Bite Sized. So let's actually take a look at a calculator that I put together that specifically gets involved in the Theta 3.0 staking. So right now, we've got about a billion Theta. Actually, it is not about, it is exactly 1 billion Theta that's currently in the supply. And right now, if you stake that, there's a 5% inflation rate. And then that's shared among all the staked Theta. Now, that means that about 250 million TFuel, and you're getting 5% TFuel inflation because there's a billion Theta locked in here. That won't change. You get 5% inflation on the TFuel, and it's about 250 million new TFuel being minted every year. Divide that by 365, you get 684,932 TFuel on a daily level. Now, if you go onto the Theta Explorer, you can actually see how much of that is currently staked, and it's about 53%. It's a little more than 53% as of recording this. So it's about 53 or 530 million total staked Theta. On TFuel, there's about 5 billion TFuel currently. And right now, prior to the launch of mainnet 3.0, if you were to stake that or you were to run a edge node, you're getting a really measly 0.15% roughly. People do it on a number of different pieces of math to figure this out, but it worked out to be about 0.15% TFuel inflation being added in for those individuals. So it's only about 750 million, or sorry, 7.5 million new TFuel being added in. And right now, when you look at the Explorer, there's about 11% of that TFuel is being staked into the elite edge nodes, or those pre-elite edge nodes. So, right now we're in a balance. We've got Theta at $11 as of filming, and we've got TFuel at 33 cents. If you want to stake Theta, you need 1,000 Theta, and that means you need about $11,000. If you want to stake TFuel, you need 10,000 TFuel, and that's about $3,300. Now, the new minted TFuel gets distributed based around all of the stakes. So if there's 530 million staked and you're staking 1,000 of it, then this is your percentage share. And so every day you would get 1.29 TFuel. That means that for the year you'd get 471.70 TFuel. And for those of you who are staking TFuel currently, you're making a whopping 0.37 TFuel a day. Maybe. I'm actually making less than this. If we look at that as an APR, that means on Theta, you're making about $43 or 43 cents a day. With TFuel, you're making 12 cents a day. It's $155 a year or $45 a year, and that works out to be 1.4% APR. So right now, it's pretty much bad for everybody. Here's what's going to happen, though, come June 30th, when the mainnet 3.0 launches. Firstly, you're going to be able to officially stake that TFuel into your elite edge nodes. What that's going to actually do to the equation, though, is it's going to change the inflation rate. And that inflation rate is going to change from between 2 and 4%. And I'm trying to investigate a little bit exactly what will determine that 2 and 4%. I know it's the amount that is staked, but I haven't exactly figured out where the equation is for what that would be calculated out as. So let's do this based off of the worst case scenario. Let's say only 2% inflation is added in. This is what has people really interested. So on June 30th, this is going to happen. If everything stays the exact same as it is, nothing else has changed in our equation, all of a sudden, staking your TFuel could earn you $600 in yearly rewards, $1.64 for your $3,300 investment. That's an 18% APR, which makes it way more profitable than getting $11,000 in Theta. So what's going to happen? Well, obviously there's going to be a lot of people who are going to jump right in and they're going to stake their TFuel. So let's say we have a huge ramp up in TFuel staking. Let's say we actually match the Theta staking. Now, there's nothing to be said that you actually are going to match the Theta staking, because TFuel is intended to have other uses. You could use it for the NFTs. You could use it for actually paying into the network. So the chances where Theta doesn't have any real use other than just staking it so that it can raise or you let it raise in value. So the rest of this that isn't staked for the Theta side is probably sitting in liquidity pools. But let's say we get to 53%, just because. If everything else stays the same, you're still getting 3.8% APR on your $3,300 investment. So if you have a choice between Theta or TFuel, where you're going to get a better investment on a smaller amount of income needed in order to hit the minimum. So my expectation is that this is going to create some demand for TFuel. You're going to have a number of individuals who previously would be purchasing Theta, or what I think is likely to happen, you're going to see individuals selling off on their Theta and converting it over to TFuel. So as we see an increase in the demand of TFuel, that's going to create an increase in the cost. So this is going to continue to increase as we have more people purchasing it, and chances are this guy might decrease a little bit. So let's say we drop that down to about 10.5. As you see, it's starting to come a little bit more in balance, but for right now, TFuel is still a better buy. In fact, if I go all the way up to $1 is where I'll start to see some changes, but I can make it all the way up into, say, not 90 cents, let's say 85 cents. What are we at? There you go. So 85 cents brings us into equilibrium on that. That is assuming, however, that we get the 2%. And the Theta network has said that it's going to be anywhere from 2% to 4%. So what happens if we get the other side? What happens if we get that 4%? Well, now again, you're off. So this is probably going to increase again. So maybe you get that up to, say, 1.5. Maybe they drop this one down a little bit. Drop this to, say, 9.95. There you go. 9.75, 1.55, we are back to equilibrium. But look what's happened to the TFuel price. You're at $15,000. That $3,300 investment is now worth $15,500 just to bring this back into equilibrium. And if you look at the price point that we had to get into equilibrium, it's about 6.25 to 1. And if you hear anything on the Theta forums, you'll see a lot about this, 6.25, so not 6.29 in my case here, I'm kind of seeing some rounding errors, but 6.25 to 1 is this golden ratio, at which point our APRs are the same. And here you're looking at a 7.5% APR, which is fantastic. So even if we look at only that 2%, and if we assume maybe Theta stays at exactly the same price point, you're still looking at increasing to about, let's see, 88 cents, 55-cent growth from where we are right now. That's worst case scenario, and that's assuming that we get as much stake as the pretty much useless staked Theta fuel. So what I think is going to happen is come launch day, you're going to see a lot of people with Theta jumping right over to their simple swap and saying, so I could take my 1,000 Theta and I could get 32,000 TFuel. That is a heck of an investment. At 3.8%, that's not bad. We go up to 4%. So if we bought that 33,000 Theta right now, that'd be a $10,000 investment. And then if it does go up to where we have equilibrium, you've just taken your $10,000 investment and made it into a $29,000 investment. So that's why I think people are so excited about what's going to happen June 30th for the mainnet launching. I know I'm interested in watching it, not only to see what it actually does for the network itself, but what it does for TFuel. So If you want to see other things broken down, let me know. I'm interested in helping out the community. This is obviously a first attempt, but I look forward to submitting more material like this for you guys to consider. Catch you later.